Hi, and welcome back to AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. And joining me today from Andorra is Andreas Horn. Andreas is the head of AI operations at IBM. And we're going to be talking about that job title and what AI operations involves. Hi, Andreas. Welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Simon. Thank you very much for the invitation. Looking forward talking to you.
And extra thank you for joining us while you're on holidays in Andorra. That's wonderful. Thank you. I want to jump right in to your job title. So, head of AI ops. Now, that's not a common one that we see. Talk us through what's the difference? What is AI ops?
Yeah, so there are a lot of buzzwords at the moment. That's true, and I guess AI ops it's one of the big buzzwords as well at the moment.
Yep.
But basically, what we do in AI ops is we try to leverage IT operations in the most efficient way, right? So, for example, you need to imagine that the most clients we are working with is when it comes to AI ops, we are talking about this Fortune 500 companies or maybe Fortune 1000 companies, the
Mm-hmm.
biggest of the biggest companies, and they all have like very comprehensive IT operations departments, right?
Right.
Maybe like 100 up to 1000 people. And those people, they really focus on making all of the digital services run all the time, right? So they need to make sure that, for example, if you're a big airline, that your services are always available and people always are able to book the flights.
Mm.
And this brings a lot of challenges. And especially IT systems are getting more and more complex.
Yep.
Everybody's going into the cloud, but still there are some workloads in an on-prem environment. And basically, what we do is we try to leverage AI to make those IT systems, when it comes to operations, especially more efficient, more scalable, and also add an overall context that you get an understanding what is really going on in my black box, IT
Mm.
operations.
So is it highly technical, or is it actually helping the business understand what's going on and how AI can help with that?
So it's a very broad field and there are different roles. Normally, we use AI ops tools and assets. So there's IBM is, for example, heavily investing in it. We bought like tools like Instana, Turbonomics, Ceph1 is they are all like AI ops tools. And
Mm-hmm.
to deploy those tools, you don't need much technical knowledge, right? Because those tools are already pretty good, and you just need to adjust your data sources accordingly. But
Yep.
then, of course, also there are other fields which are more technical. And at the end of the day, it always depends, of course, on your data. So if you have very good data and the data is highly accessible, you don't need to make much adjustment when it comes to the right tooling. But if your data is not there yet, you need to do some data cleansing and so on. Of course, then you have to do quite some technical groundwork first.
Yeah, wow. And so how would someone get into the field of AI ops? Like what would that path normally look like?
Yeah, so I think that normally we see people who are working in IT operations going into this field, right? And IT operations, it's a very big field, and I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people are overlooking it at the moment because there is a recent Gartner study. They analyzed like top biggest companies in the world, and they found out that around 70 to 80% of the overall IT budget of
Mm-hmm.
those companies is spent for operations, right? So it's
Wow.
by far
Okay.
the biggest cost driver. And in a lot of companies, the biggest part of their IT departments is also working in operations. So what we see normally, people who have a background in operations, in operating those big IT systems, they are moving more into the AI ops field because I mean, AI is everywhere, and also in operations. There are now a lot of discussions and thoughts about how can we leverage the power for AI to make those
Yeah.
systems more efficient, right? But of course, I think it's a broad field and it brings a lot of possibilities. And another way to get into it is to become an expert with all of these AIOps tools which are there in the market, right? I just mentioned a few, but there are like other tools, like for example, Dynatrace, Datadog, and to know how to leverage those tools is definitely something where I see a lot of possibilities in the future for new skills and
Yeah,
people.
it's definitely a unique skill set, that's for sure. Look, believe it or not, we're already at 5 minutes, but I have a question that I love to ask everybody, and I know that you lecture on AI at the institute and things. So I'm really interested in your answer. If there's someone that is just starting their journey with AI, maybe it's the first time they've played with generative AI, whatever, they're just starting their journey. What's your one best tip for someone just starting their AI journey?
I think my first tip would be try to get as fast as possible hands-on. Try to build something. And there are a lot of very nice tutorials, for example, on the internet or on websites like Medium, or other websites. It's about building projects, building a pilot, building an MVP. And even if you just leverage the OpenAI API, but I think if you build something, you really get deep into it. And if you're non-technical and you want to do it on a broader field, I mean, all of the knowledge and all of the greatest education is nearly accessible for free nowadays,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of great material on Coursera, for example, a lot of great material on Udemy, on YouTube. Just yesterday, I found out that from Jan LeCun, his lecture about deep learning is for free available. So just try to learn and get into this field. And I think there's plenty of possibilities.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. This has been a great AI in 5, and I look forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you, Simon. Have a nice day.